What's good? We back with the Boxing Clinic and more. It's your boy CJ Goodfellow. One time for the one time. Y'all know what the business is. We back with a breakdown prediction. Danny Garcia taking on Shawn Showtime Porter. Brooklyn Barclays Center, September 8th for the vacant WBC welterweight title. All right. And a little backstory before we get into the breakdown and prediction part of the video. They originally was ordered to fight last year. A lot of people act like they don't remember that when Shawn Porter did the whole Randy Savage, Macho Man, call out to Danny Garcia, said send a contract, and then, automatically the Porter said they sent the contract, and Danny Garcia said he had told Al Haymon he took the year off. And now we finally getting the fight over a year later. Now that Keith Thurman had been stripped, all right? Shawn Porter made it very, very clear he was not coming back to the ring till Keith Thurman came back or he got a shot at his WBC title. He last fought in November. Now he's not fighting until September, all right? We'll get into that in a minute. But we'll do little inklings of stories and stuff throughout the prediction video. And it's actually a really, really intriguing fight. What's the real hype around this fight? It's not the overall card. The overall card is not very good in my opinion. It's not up to the standards of a premier boxing champion undercard, at least of this year of 2018. But you have Charles Martin taking on Adam Nonauki, the Polish fighter who knocked out Arthur Spilk after Deontay Wilder and who is rising as well. And Charles Martin is obviously the guy that sold his belt to Anthony Joshua, got stumped out for his IBF, all right? And Ugas is on the card versus a guy I don't really know. And also Marcellus Wilder, Deontay Wilder's little brother who turned pro, as the cruiserweight is on the non-televised portion of this card, September 8th at the Barclays Center. Now, talk about strengths and weaknesses, how we get down. We can start off with Shawn Porter. His aggression is his greatest strength, along with his granite chin and physical strength as a welterweight. His aggression can break the will of you if you're not ready for a dogfight. If you're not willing to get your hands dirty, Shawn Porter will break your spirit. He has some excellent hooks. He has an excellent overhand right. When I broke down film, how good that punch is and how important that punch will be in this fight, in my opinion. Just a great volume puncher, excellent stamina, rarely gets tired, great chin, a dog in there. You know what I'm saying? He's not scared to get his paws dirty to get the job done. That's what most people appreciate about Shawn Porter's game. He's short, stocky, low to the ground, but he a dog in there. His aggression, his heart, his will, his toughness, and that's what Shawn Porter is. Shawn Porter, his intangibles, outweigh his tangibles in my opinion. His heart, his aggression, his spirit, his will, it's better than any physical attribute that he has. But he has some good physical attributes in this fight. He's quicker, faster, and he's more aggressive. And that's Shawn Porter pretty much in a nutshell. Danny Garcia's strength, he got some great intangibles as well, too. He's Philly tough. He's Philly strong. He got the spirit of a Philly fighter. When it's time to turn that switch on, he's not always got that throwback fighter mentality no more now that he done tasted some caviar and touched some money. But he's an excellent counterpuncher. Excellent catch and shooter, man. His counterpunching ability may be the best in the business, damn near. It's probably damn sure the best at the welterweight division. As well, good left hook, good right hand. I think his straight right hand is just as potent as that left hook. Really, really good sharp jab. Tough kid, man. Granite chin. Another guys with two granite chins. I don't think they have elite power at the welterweight limit, but it's hard to really have elite power and Mike Tyson and just guys, Julian Jackson type power at this elite level. That's how you know if a guy is really a power puncher. If they knocking out elite, top level, top 5 welterweights, the top 5 in their division guys. But Swift is tough, man. Great pounder puncher, great left hook, great straight right, and he's a smart fighter. His IQ goes underrated, man. And granite chin, and that's what he's good at. He's talking about the weaknesses, Shawn Porter. Like I said, his jab, the inconsistent jab. Sometimes it look good in the Keith Thurman fight and other fights, and other times he just rather lead in with his head and his elbows to get in and that's going to be a mistake in this fight. If he leaves his jab in the corner or the locker room or leave it at home, that's going to be the biggest mistake that he made in this fight, and I elaborate on that as well. Lack of versatility. He's only good coming forward. He's not good going backwards. He ain't good setting nobody up, going, boxing like Lamont Peterson, Herrera. He could take angles, but I don't think he uses his angles to his biggest advantage, in my opinion. Also, the ring rush factor is a weakness for them in this fight as well, too. He been off since November. He ain't had a real fight, and I don't want to hear that as an excuse. That was by his choice. He could have tuned up, could have got some fights, could have fought Earl, chose not to. He chose to sit on the pine and wait for his WBC title shot, and he got to live with being rusty. I don't want to hear that as an excuse. Or my timing, my distance was off. Don't want to hear it. And other times he smothers his work. Shawn Porter is not really good at fighting at his distance. He never knows what his distance is. It changes every fight. He don't know what his ideal distance is. He smothers his work, and I think if he didn't smother his work and learn how to get distance and keep people at the end of his punches, he might have more power than his record indicates, but he don't. He smothers his power. He overcommits as well. And like I said, lack of versatility, no outside, no mid-range fighter. It's inside or nothing for Shawn Porter. And that's just pretty much him in a nutshell as far as his weaknesses. For Danny Garcia, he lacks elite level. I think he lacks elite or good level speed and athletic ability. I think he's an average athlete. Slightly maybe above average athlete when you talk about speed and foot speed and hand speed as well. He can't handle movement, If you got a jab, that bothers Danny Garcia a little bit, especially if you can move with your footwork and pop shot and move and use your jab up and down. That gives him a lot of issues. Guys that move and use the ring and box him gives him a lot of issues. He doesn't know how to close the distance. He doesn't know how to cut the ring off as well. And another thing I want to say, I think both of these dudes are lacking good trainers. I think they dads are average trainers at best. I don't think they're elite or good trainers. I think the battles of the minds in the corners is going to be tough, because I don't see neither one of these dudes as elite trainers. And that's nothing just to hang about it, hang your head over. It's just my opinion. I think they're okay trainers. I think both fighters can do better, but Garcia, can't handle movement. If you can use the ring and go in and out, you got a jab, that's Danny Garcia's kryptonite. In and out movement, using the ring and using your jab and coming down angles. His foot speed is terrible, and his technique of cutting the ring off with closing distance is worse than that. But, overall, obviously, before we get into the overall strategies and keys to victory for both fighters, most people want to see these dudes fight Errol Spence. It is believed that it's a contract or they're being forced to fight Errol Spence. Some people believe they will take a voluntary fight. I've heard that rumor going around. So that's just something to keep your eye on right there. We want to see the best fight the best. And you don't deserve a tune-up after y'all then took a long time off, had a tune-up or didn't have a tune-up. They should be forced to go into a big fight versus Errol Spence. Ain't no tune-up. Get it in the first or second quarter of next year, and let's get back active. But the keys to victory here for Shawn Porter is to come in behind his jab. Don't use your head. If you come in behind his head, Shawn Porter tends to, forget about the defensive side of the boxing game at times. He's so offensive trying to get his punches off and get inside. He drops his hands completely. He's open for hooks. He's open for counter rights. Keith Thurman didn't take advantage of using his straight punches with his jab and right hand, and he chose to hook with a hooker, and sometimes their hooks intertwine and kind of threw off the rhythm for both guys. And, for Shawn Porter, he must come in at angles. He must feint when he coming in and keep Danny guessing. Push his jab, double his jab up, because he like to push it coming in. And it's a good jab when he pushes, but he has to double and triple the jab up coming on the inside. When he get on the inside, he got to show Danny Garcia who's the boss, rip the body, go upstairs. I'm not going to say, he got to have a perfect distance, because it's not going to happen for Shawn Porter. Porter got to keep Danny on the ropes, beat Danny up, but keep his hands up on the way in, or at least jab on the way in to keep Danny's hands at home. But you got to remember, when you come in, behind that jab, or if you choose to come in without the jab, Danny Garcia is a master counterpuncher, and he will catch your punches, or he will get his punches there quicker than your punches and counter you. And the punch you don't see coming is the punch that hurts you. He's a very, very sharp counterpuncher. And also, as far as with Shawn Porter, Keith Thurman, he had to worry about Keith Thurman hooks, not so much his jab and his his straight right hand with Danny Garcia, just as big as his left hook is, his straight right is very, very good. And as far as Danny Garcia is going, he has to keep his jab going. Use your jab and shoot your right hand behind your jab and step into that right hand away from that big overhand right from Shawn Porter and them hooks. Try to get your short punches there, and your straight right hand is going to get there before Shawn Porter hooks get there, because he come wide. And if you're able to put your jab in there and then stop Shawn this track and shoot your right hand behind it, eventually you will be able to lead off with that no-look left hook, and you'll eventually be able to, or 1-2, and mix in the left or the overhand right, which is big for Danny Garcia as well, and mix in there and catch Shawn Porter. Trust me, when Shawn Porter gets frustrated when he comes in without using his jab, he drops his hands and go for hooks. And if you're able to sneak in that 1-2 in there like Kell Brook did, you will have a lot of success in this fight. And those are the keys to victory for those guys. But, basically how I see it playing out is Shawn Porter is going to be rusty, a bit rusty. At least Danny did fight this calendar year in February. It's about 3 months between, last time they fought. They fought November and February. I believe that Danny Garcia is going to come out sharp. I believe Shawn Porter is a little bit rusty, but I think he knocked the rust off good. But I don't see Shawn Porter consistently using his jab. A lot of times he leaves his jab at home, and I believe Angel Garcia and Danny Garcia are smart enough to know Shawn Porter don't throw a lot of straight punches. And they got to know they double, triple, single jab is going to be very, very important for him coming inside. And if you put the jab in there with the 1-2 like Kell Brook did, and they can educate Danny on holding, they can win this fight and locking up. Danny Garcia looks like he really grown into the welterweight limit. I believe he's going to be the sharper puncher. I don't believe Shawn Porter is going to utilize his jab in this fight. I believe Danny Garcia is going to pick Shawn Porter off with some of his counter punches. I think this fight plays into Danny Garcia's hands. A guy that comes to Danny Garcia that's not going to use the ring, that's not going to box in the back foot, can't box at mid-range. He's going to come straight down the pipe, don't use angles. And I believe Danny Garcia is going to land a more flashier punches. He's on the East Coast, close to Philly. I think he's going to get the benefit of the doubt of landing some flashier punches. Like I said, I think his straight punches is going to get there, and eventually I think he will catch Shawn Porter with some hooks and some overhand rights while Shawn Porter is coming in. Porter drops his hands a lot, but I believe Porter is going to keep the pressure on Danny. I think he's going to come down the stretch, work Danny. I think Danny does get tired in fights, and I think Shawn Porter is going to come down the stretch and make it a tough fight on Danny. But I think Danny is going to edge Shawn Porter by 1 to 2 points on 3 of the scorecards. I think it's going to be a very, very close fight. It's going to be very, very disputed. But I got Danny Garcia inking out a split decision over Shawn Porter. I think it's going to be a wonderful fight. But y'all know what it is. It's Boxing Clinic and more. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you want to watch this fight and you want to join our streaming group for the boycott, go ahead and hit the link in the description on the Facebook Boycott Group. We're going to be streaming the fight, the entire card, the whole night. Check us out if you want to donate. The PayPal link is there as well when we go live. Shout out to the Super Chats as well. And make sure you check us out on S210 College Sports Most Wanted for your college football needs. That link's in the description as well. And shout out to my brother Cali Enigma. Shout out to K Black in the building. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to them brothers at CB Sports TV and my brother Colossal Sports.